Good afternoon, YouTube. This is the Florida Rider. And yes, I just lane split. Don't call the police on me, please. So I thought I'd like to ask a question. How many of you out there are big-time Olympic fans? I surely am. And with the Olympics starting today, looks like I'll be busy watching TV for the next few weeks. I love the Olympics. I always have, always will. I think it probably dates back to when I was younger. I would say childhood, but don't really know exactly how far. NBC used to show the Olympics back then, and thank you very much. And their slogan was, share a moment with the world. And that's really what you're doing, is you're sharing a moment with the world. You're sitting in front of your TV watching the same thing that people in Bulgaria, Istanbul, Sydney, Tokyo, Africa, everybody else is doing. And they're all enjoying the same thing at the same time. How often does that happen in this world? Well, the only thing I can think of is the Olympics. I mean, World Cup, sure, for some of us, but not for everybody. And nobody say the Super Bowl because, no. Half of America isn't even watching that. Let alone people in other countries. Yes, I do love the Olympics. I love them so much that I actually attended the Olympics in Athens when I lived in Europe. But the Athens Olympics were in 2006 or 4. Well, whenever they were, I was there. And it was an amazing time. I mean, I was busy going to events from like 8 o'clock in the morning until, 11 o'clock p.m. or so. And even after your events were finished, you didn't want to leave because you were having too much fun. You were meeting people from different countries and talking with them and discussing the Olympics. And, well, in my case, I was speaking different languages too. And it was just amazing because the people were all there for the same thing, just to have fun and to enjoy the Olympics. No politics, none of that crap. It was just about the Olympics, and it was amazing. I mean, we went to different rallies for Mexicans and for, people from country X or country Y or country Z or wherever, and it was awesome. And I remember I met this one couple from Atlanta, and they told me that they had been to the Atlanta Olympics in, I think, 96, and that once you go once, you'll always want to go again. They said it's like a sickness, and I totally believe that. I wanted to go to the Beijing Games, but that was too far and too expensive, including visas and things like that, so it didn't happen. And had I not moved back to the US in 2011, the plan was to go to the 2012 Games in London. I still tried to make that happen from the US, but it didn't. So I'm sort of setting my sights on Rio for 2016. Don't know if it'll happen or not, but I'm going to save my money and see if I can make it happen. Although Brazil isn't the safest place in the world these days. And I think the Summer Olympics after that are in Tokyo. Perhaps, who knows? Now I do want to qualify this by saying I do love the Olympics, but I love the Summer Olympics more than the Winter Olympics. And for those who have been following me, that shouldn't surprise you at all. Because as much fun as it would be to go stand and have snow fall while you're watching skiing, yeah, that's not for me. No, thank you. Plus, the sports are a lot more interesting to me in the summer, too. I mean, in the Winter Olympics, I'll watch, well, okay, admittedly, being an Olympics junkie, I'll watch almost anything. Except ice dancing. And curling. Curling is just a made-up sport by people who were bored one day and decided to make up a sport to see if the rest of the world would like it. And I'm sure they did it as a joke. And somehow it caught on. Anyway, I like to watch downhill skiing. I like to watch snowboarding of any kind. I like to watch some of the figure skating. Bobsledding, luge, I love all that stuff too. And I was even able to start watching the Olympics before the opening ceremony today on the NBC, I think it's Sports Extra app. They actually show the events at the time it's happening live, rather than tape delayed like NBC will be doing. At least I think that's what NBC will be doing. I haven't worked that out yet, but I know that they're tape delaying the opening ceremony till I think 7:30 p.m., even though in Russia it'll be starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US, and it will not be shown on an app. So I actually have to watch that on TV, but that's okay. I can do that. So how about you? Do you like the Olympics? What sports do you plan on watching this winter? Do you hate the Olympics? If so, why? Anyway, if you need me for the next several weeks, I will be on the couch overdosing on Olympics. This is the Florida Rider signing off. Goodbye.